Today I'm going to teach you how to tie a basic woolly bugger. First, we're going to start with wire. Silver, 0.20 or 15 works best. So what we're going to do is we're going to wrap to create some size and add some weight. Close touching spirals. Slide our bead back up. Slide this up against our bead. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take our black thread. This is 1/40 size. Usually smaller size thread on this one here, but it doesn't really matter. Of all the things in fly tying, thread is probably the least important, other than when you're trying to get a good color. We're just going to wrap that like that and secure our wire in place. Helicopter it free. We're going to wrap up our spiral here of wire to make sure we secure that in there. Ugh. It's the downside of this vise. Let's go a lot. Okay, we're going to wrap down to the barb of our hook. Always remember with trout to when you get to the water or whenever you want to, you gotta pinch your barb in so it doesn't harm the fish with your pliers. So first we're gonna take our marabou. This is olive. I also use black a lot. We're just going to go like this to get some of those loose fibers out. Next, we're going to take flat surface. I prefer my scissors here. And you're basically going to break the end of all of these off, because it gives it a way better look to it. This is quite messy, so with these, I do not really recommend doing this on carpet. I'm on carpet, but I'll vacuum. So you're basically going to break it. And so what that does is it gives it a lot more natural look to it. I'm just going to pull off these short little things. And so what we're going to do is we're going to have about that much out. And we're going to make a loose wrap and then a tight wrap. Tighten this down, secure it in there, all the way back to the barb of our hook. And I'm going to trim this off now. Smoothing this out a little bit. And then next, we're going to take about 2 or 3 inches of gold colored wire. More like 4 inches actually. The more the better. Actually, I take that back. First, we need to put some chenille. Again, about 4 or 5 inches of this. And we're going to skewer this down. Cut our excess. And start wrapping back. I take it back again. We need to wrap this down first, and then we can wrap it back. Close touching spirals. And we're going to make sure we secure this in like that. You can always adjust your marabou a little bit. It's pretty dusty somehow, but I suppose it might get that when they color it. But so after we get this, we're gonna secure our wire finally. I actually believe you were supposed to do this before you put the chenille on, but it doesn't really matter because you don't really see it after you put your hackle on. So it doesn't really matter. So we're just gonna have that wire hang there while we grab some saddle hackle. You're supposed to use some other material, but it's basically just a different color of hackle. But I like mixing my colors up a little bit, so I always like to use different colors, but that's also because most of the time I don't have the other colors. But you're supposed to use black saddle hackle here, but doesn't really matter. In the end, it's all just saddle hackle, so you get this where you want it. Then you're going to start wrapping back. And open spirals. Dang it. Don't do what I do. And my saddle hackle came loose. I'm struggling. I'm not very good at this. I got all this information from Ventures Fly Co. Honestly, they're way better than me at tying flies, but . So we're going to wrap this back, and we're going to do something different than we usually do when we're wrapping hackle. We're going to hold it here, and we're going to wrap our wire now. So, man, you gotta move this left and right to get it so it doesn't interfere with your hackle. Once you get to about the midway point, you don't need to hold on to your saddle hackle anymore. Then you're just going to secure your hackle. Cut your excess wire and your excess hackle. Just like that, and there is your olive woolly bugger.